Hey peeps, how we doing? Okay, day seven. Okay, we've done a week of Mission 500. I'm so super excited. And guess what? We've got a couple more people who's on the board. Okay, look. These people have gone straight into UPP because they want the program, and then we have others that have just joined our Mission 500 membership. So well done for coming on board. I am so super excited, as always, to see you progress. Okay, because progression comes from working on things in a logical order, and that's what that's all about, especially the program. Cool. Okay, so today is all about getting your tilt. So many people struggle with tilting when they're working on their inverts, and there's a couple of reasons for this. And you can actually work on this as a complete beginner. As always, starting from the very beginning to train for your invert is so important. There's no point just doing beginner tricks without doing the conditioning that's going to help you level up when it's time to level up. Okay, so inverting. So when you invert, we need the tilt to come. Okay, so I'm talking about inverting without any swings, without any kicks. Okay, that's the way we teach. If you're swinging up, you keep your hips down. When you want to tuck tilt to be able to get that control, we need the hips up, okay? And that's the first bit, okay? So I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. As I'm just going to put you down over here. Let me just set you up. I think I've got a better thing going on now. I can set you up a bit easier, okay? Hey, let me know if you're here. I'm just going to crack on. I know a lot of you watch the replay, so just hashtag replay and let me know. Or if you're here, just say hi. I don't think I can see comments. No, all I can see is my post. Well, we'll see how it goes. So we want the tilt. So this is what I mean by tilt, okay? So this is a tuck, this is a tilt, this is the chopper, or straight into your invert. Now, right here in the UK where I am, we're basically having a heat wave. And even with my silicone pole, I am struggling to grip, okay? So bear with me. So I have a wet cloth and a dry cloth. So if this is not something you do, this is what I recommend people do. Literally have a wet cloth, wipe your hands rather than just keep applying a grip on top of grip, because you tend to find the grip will just sit on top of your hands and not do very much. So always give them a good clean, if not just wipe with a cloth and then dry with the dry cloth. Okay, so that's what I'll be doing. Probably quite a bit trying to teach you this at midday. So tilt. There is a lot going on, okay? We need the biceps to be engaged in that nice short arm grip. We need our back to be engaged. We need to squeeze the shoulder blades together, okay? And we need to think about tucking the pelvis under and getting those knees high. The hip flexors need to do a lot of work, okay? So those are kind of like the three main areas that I'm going to look upon today. So if you think about it, we need to think about getting that nice strong hold in your biceps. And hopefully you will have developed the strength of being able to hold your tuck position, okay? Now, if your tuck was anything like I've just demoed there, we kind of need to go a little bit higher, okay? If the knees are too low, when you tilt, you're going to slide. I'm just going to tilt you down a little bit. Talking about tilting, here we go. So when you try and tilt, if you haven't got your knees high enough, you're going to fall. This is probably what will happen. So if this is what's happening to you, let me know. So you're going to go up, and then you're like, oh, okay? Because the hips are quite low, okay? So the first thing we need to do is keep working on the biceps and squeezing the shoulder blades together. I can't stress that enough, guys. Even if you're just working on your biceps, if we're not squeezing the shoulder blades together, you are not going to be able to tilt back or hold a flat back, okay, to be able to transition for the tilt. When the back is rounded, if you're here, you're just going to drop. So we need to squeeze and lift, all right? So that's the first thing. So to help you develop that strength, you can do something called, like, what I call floor pull-ups. So you can get down, sorry, that's my weight. So you can get down on the floor, okay? This is what I like to do in my Master the Chopper training, MTC. So just above the head, we're going to squeeze the elbows in, okay? Pull the shoulders down, and I'm already lifting my chest, okay? So I'm starting in a really good position. My hips are quite close to the pole. I'll just got my feet down for now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to glide my chest up and squeeze those elbows towards my sides, okay? So I can work on my biceps as well as my back, and then I can swap my hands over and do the same thing, okay? So we want to make sure we can work in that position. So this is another way to do that, okay? To get in that good position for your invert. So that is definitely one I would recommend that you do if you don't already add that to your invert training. So floor pull-ups. So once we've got that pull down strength, awesome, and we can hold it, okay? You can also develop on this. This is what I do as well. I do it in the live. Is once you've got that pull down strength, you can work on hip flexor strength and core strength by lifting your legs in this move as well to develop it. So from here, we're going to pull, lift, lift, down, down. So taking your feet off the floor, again, same, imagine we're working on that top position, it's going to develop your biceps. So it can be quite, not common, what's the word? Can't think of the right words, but it's easier to push down with your feet, okay? And work on these where actually we need to develop more strength in the biceps and the back. We're doing less of the feet. So you can start with legs out straight as well to make it a little bit more difficult. Otherwise, pull, lift, lift, lift. This will make sure you're pulling down and not just pushing back, because you won't be able to push back and lift your legs here without bashing into the pole. Hopefully that makes sense. So that is definitely one I would get you to do initially to make sure we've got that upper body strength. So the tilt part also comes in that pelvic tilt and getting the knees to the shoulders. If the knees are getting up, but they're not getting high enough, you're going to really struggle to tilt back. Let me demo. So, am I going to come out of view? Yes. Right, up and down like a blinking yo-yo. What I should do is actually get a widescreen lens for my phone, shouldn't I? I should just invest in one. Okay, so when you go into your tuck, so I'm pulling the shoulders down like I did for that floor pull-up, tucking the pelvis under, bending both knees. Now, you might think, oh, they're quite high. They're not high enough. So what I want you to do is I want you to power the legs up and I want you to open the knees out towards the shoulders. Okay, so it looks like this. Can you see the difference on how high they become? So initially we tend to bring the knees together and we work on developing the upper abs as well. Then we're going to open out. So as you lift, knees to shoulders rather than together. So normal tuck. And then when you want to work on your tuck and tilt, knees out. Can you see how high you can get? What a lovely view of my butt you just got. You're welcome. So once we get the knees out into that position, then we can extend. If you are trying to tilt without your knees being at that height, you tend to be slipping down, okay? You tend to be just sliding through the side and just dropping through the arms. You want to keep your biceps engaged whilst we get those knees out. So, another exercise you can do. Okay, if you follow our MTC training, Master Chopper, you will recognise these. So, especially if you do the new version in UPP2. So we're going to think about knees out to the shoulders. So we're going to start by sitting, hands around face level. You can start with your arms straight and we're going to roll the shoulders back and squeeze the shoulder blades together. We're going to knees out to the shoulders, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze as much as you can. So you can go up and then you can work on straightening. Down. What you don't want to do is bring your knees up and then straighten out here, because you might not have, if you're struggling to do that, you may not have developed the hip flexor strength that you need. So you need to be working on that. So you need to keep the knees up. And even if we can't straighten completely, but we can do this, just do this. Okay, does that make sense? And then over time, then you'll get stronger and you'll be able to lengthen as you work through your hamstring flexibility. Does this make sense? Okay, so we're working on that knees out to the shoulders part. Once you've got your knees out to the shoulders, then that's going to be easier to tilt back. For most people who struggle, they're just not getting their knees high enough. And if their knees aren't high enough, their hips aren't high enough, and that's the problem. So we've got to work on those knees up and out. It might be worth looking at when you're doing your core exercises to actually make sure your abs are firing, to ensure that you're developing that strength. If they're not firing, then you're not going to be able to develop the strength to be able to do that in the first place, okay? So just make sure everything, you've got your contact points for everything and that you're able to engage all through the steps, okay? Don't just think about just going straight into invert. Do all the steps, work upon them. everything's a progress, okay? There's always steps that you can do. There's always something else. You do one step, then there's something else to follow on, then a follow on, then a follow on that makes it a little bit harder, okay? So carry on with that. So once we've got the knees out, it's a case of thinking about tilting back, but I've still got to maintain my bicep control, okay? You don't want to just straighten the arms because that's when you drop. So as we start to lean back, I'm still squeezing the shoulders together. That's important, okay? If you just think about straightening and just you drop through your back, you're going to slide. Everything is about squeezing back, so work on those pole pull-ups. So let's go back to the tuck and tilt now. Up we go again. Oh dear, right. So we've worked on the bicep strength and hold. We've now looked at the knees up. Now let's look at their actual tilt. Once you've got all those, everything else should come a little bit more natural. So from here, we're going to tuck, tilt the knees out, and then I'm going to start to lean back. So I've still got my arms bent, okay? So from here, tuck, tilt, and then I'm going to lean back, then I'm going to pull up. Then I'm going to lean back a little bit further, pull up. If you work on that, you're going to develop that bicep strength and keep straightening your back. If you just keep practicing by tilting back and not developing that strength of the arms, you're just going to fall out. So every time you do it, if you keep going, down, try again. Don't do that, okay? If that's what's happening, that's why you're not developing the strength. Go back a little bit. So from here, tuck and tilt, knees are out, then I'm going to go back a little bit, pull up, back a bit more, pull up. Does that make sense? Little bits at a time. If that's the area you're struggling with, let's rein it back a bit, okay? We're not getting the full motion yet. Let's just do a little step by step. Does this make sense? Okay? So that's how you're going to work on getting that tilt. Once you've got the tilt back and the hips are high, and you can't get your hips any higher, and you can hold it, perfect. You can work on shooting the legs up. You can work on straddling into a chopper position. You can do everything, okay? So I'm not going to go too much into that because I know this video was to help you with that tilting stage. That's where you're stuck with. We can go through inverts another time once we've got to that. Does this make sense? Hopefully so. If you've got any questions with this, just let me know. Can't see comments. As per usual. But if you found it helpful, please do share as always. If you get stuck and you don't know how to progress and you need step by step, then you'll want the Master the Chopper program. Come and book a call with me. Let's have a chat. Let's see if we can help. Let's see if the program can help you. Our ultimate progression program, if you don't know what it's all about. If that can't help you, we might have something else that does. And if we can't help you, we'll advise you where to go. Does that make sense? So we want to help you make the best progress. But as always, work up step by step. Okay? Right. Have a wonderful day, peeps. Go, if you're in the UK, go and have lots of ice poles. Keep yourself cool. Get yourself in the pool. All right, sweet. Right. I will speak to you soon. Bye.